Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush took his first steps toward running for president of the United States in 2016. He announced plans to actively explore a campaign and form a political action committee. Those are clear signs that his official candidacy announcement will just be a formality. Alex Pappas is a political reporter with the Daily Caller, and he recently wrote an article on Jeb Bush's announcement. I spoke with him earlier. Alex, good to see you. Welcome to Arise America. Thank you so much for being here. You know, the truth is Jeb Bush's name has been coming up for years now as a possible presidential candidate. He has always steadfastly and sternly said no. He was not running, not ever running, and not interested in it. And now, of course, he's seriously exploring it. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not at all. And that's what was interesting yesterday was what Jeb Bush said when he came out and said, hey, I'm actively considering running for president and exploring running for president. He said what we kind of knew all along, which was that he is thinking about it. The reason it was so important, though, was the signal it sent to the big money donors in the party, the ones that said, you know, we know that Jeb Bush wants to be president. We're just not sure if he has it in him to actually, you know, run a rough and tumble campaign. This was a signal to them that, hey, I'm really thinking about running. I'm serious. I'm probably going to run. And that maybe you shouldn't start writing checks or think about writing checks to people like Chris Christie or maybe even Mitt Romney. So that's why that was so important.
Yeah, and what kind of news is this for other much talked about potential candidates like Chris Christie and Mitt Romney?
Well, they certainly aren't that happy about it. I mean, they are really, you know, those sort of people are competing for the same sort of mantle, this, you know, the establishment Republican mantle, which, by the way, those are the ones that usually go on to win the nomination if you go and look over the last couple election cycles. You know, the reason Mitt Romney was being talked about was there's a sense that maybe Jeb wasn't going to run. Maybe Chris Christie is too damaged with things that have gone on in New Jersey to actually run a successful campaign. And meanwhile, people are going to say, you know, Mitt, you got to run. You know, with Jeb really getting serious about it, making it look like he's going to do it, I think that kind of kills it for Mitt Romney.
He's kind of like, and I don't mean this to be disparaging, the elephant in the room, just like Hillary Clinton is on the Democrat side. So let's talk about a stack up between Jeb Bush and Hillary Clinton. Who comes out on top there at this point in time?
Well, I mean, actually, if you look at the polls, Hillary's topping Jeb Bush and a couple of the other guys that are thinking about running on the Republican side. But there's no question about it. Jeb Bush would be very formidable. I mean, two-term governor of Florida, a very important swing state when it comes to these elections, as we all know. You know, his wife's Hispanic. He speaks Spanish. So a little different sort of Republican there, somebody that can appeal to Hispanics. But, you know, the big problem for him, though, is while he may be a pretty good general election candidate for Republicans, you know, the problem is going to be, can he actually get the nomination? A lot of conservatives aren't too happy with the sort of guy he is today.
Yeah, there's a couple of big issues that he stands on that are at odds with the conservative agenda, one being immigration reform, the other being he supports Common Core. Do you expect him to move to the right on these and other issues to be able to get the conservative base and get through a primary?
I don't, and he's kind of, you know, hinted at this, Jeb Bush has in some of these interviews where he's saying, you know, I don't want to have to appeal so far to the right of the conservative base that you know, I'm not able to win a general election. He feels so very strongly about immigration. It's hard for him to imagine him backing away from the fact that he thinks that there should be a pathway to citizenship for illegal immigrants. Common Core, you know, education has been a big issue for him. He's come out pretty far in saying he likes the standards. You know, maybe if you go and ask some Republican strategists, they're going to say he's got to find a way to kind of disagree with maybe Common Core and make it sound like he has disagreements, because these two issues, immigration and Common Core, that riles up the conservative base more than anything. And for him to be out there just being on complete opposite sides, I mean, that's going to cause a lot of problems for him.
It is going to cause a lot of problems for him, but immigration particularly also energizes a base that the conservatives will need in the general election. Let me quickly move forward because I'm running out of time. Can you talk about anything that he did as a governor of Florida that might trip him up when he runs for president?
Well, you know, that's the thing. It's funny is that he has this label now that he's a moderate, but he was actually a very conservative governor by most standards. I mean, he cut taxes. You know, I mean, look at the Terry Schiavo case. You know, the big story there at the time for those that remember that. I mean, social conservatives love him. He was for the sort of license tags that that the pro-life community wants. I mean, there's going to be a lot there that Democrats are going to be able to really hit him on, tying him to the far right of the Republican Party.
Alex, let me ask you this very quickly in the last few seconds. Whose family baggage is heavier if it ends up being Jeb Bush up against Hillary Clinton? Both of them have to overcome what their family, her husband, his brother, and father did in the White House. Who has the bigger task?
Well, both of them actually really do. And how amazing would that be, a Bush-Clinton race again? A lot of baggage. Everyone in the country has an opinion of the Bushes and the Clintons, and they're both going to deal with a lot of that, that's for sure.
It could be a lot of fun for all of us, the truth be
Yes, it
told.
will.
Alex Pappas, thank you so much. Good to talk to you.
You too.